frightening developments. What do you say about this specific response by Finland and Sweden?
Well, I think it's going to further impress upon them the need to really take control of their own security situation. As we know, the United States has been providing that security blanket for a lot of these NATO countries for so long. This is a wake-up call. You know, you don't want to be alarmist, but whenever Putin says something that references nuclear powers, and those ATACMS, they're U.S. supply. So I think that is something to consider. So we need to think very seriously. Not saying it's World War III, but NATO does need to start taking more responsibility for its own situation. Trump he's articulated that, and so far it looks like, okay, they're going to. So this is probably the first step in that direction in a very tactical way, but just investing in those, the increased percentages of what we really need to have a geopolitical situation that is better for the United States, frankly, and better for Europe. I think they're going to start going there. I don't like this escalation. New National Security Advisor incoming said it best when this is an escalation ladder. We don't know where it leads. I think that's very correct. But I also think that we have an opportunity with Trump and his new team to come in and right the ship. And I believe that we'll do that. We don't want this axis to grow, North Korea, Iran, China. But I think with Trump going to be in office January 20th, we are going to be in a better situation than we actually are right now, God willing.
So, Charles, Kara mentions the escalation ladder. Right. I mean, the top rung is telling your citizens to prepare for nuclear war. And not since the Cold War has that been sort of accepted as practice. And it's been an incredibly long time since that incredibly frightened state of hysteria that the country was in. And that's where Finland and Sweden are now.
That's where they are now. You know, it's sort of Sunday morning quarterbacking, but we did the Biden administration mishandled this from the beginning, right? I mean, they had over a year of knowledge that the invasion was going to happen. Did absolutely nothing. Nothing to deter Russia. Zero. Then once it happened, they made a series of clumsy moves. Economically, they took Russia off a system that everyone in the world uses. And a lot of folks say, you know what, I never want the U.S. to take me off it. That, you know, now we have a big counterforce economically that's happening. In the meantime, we gave Russia the weapons they needed too late. And this is a move of desperation right now. This is a move of desperation. And that's when things escalate out of control, when they become desperate. And we're in a dual race right now before this becomes something where America is actively involved in another world war, or somehow some sort of armistice or treaty is met. But right now, it's an equal race, in my opinion, and Trump can't get in there soon enough. Now, here's the good news. Russia, their reserves have gone down dramatically recently. Germany finally said, we won't take your natural gas. How the hell were they buying natural gas from Russia in the first place? So a lot of things are going against Russia right now, but it's escalating. And you mentioned the evil axis, or the new axis of evil. I read somewhere to potentially 100,000 North Korean soldiers being involved. So it's got to be nipped in the bud, or it's going to be out of everyone's control soon.
So, and posturing, though, Kayleigh, if we talk about the posturing of Putin and the mission creep we talked about yesterday, the North Koreans, but the reality is Finland and Sweden are telling their citizens now to prepare for nuclear war, and that seems incredibly hyperbolic. Or is reality truly there, right over a fine line? Is that where we really are?
It is where we are.
Yes, ma'am.
Biden has made a mess of the world. He is like the child in the candy store that cannot stop breaking things. Look, when you look back, Obama warned Trump about North Korea in their Oval Office meeting. Well, what happened with North Korea? Trump made relations better. They stopped firing missiles after he met with North Korea. Then you have Biden lecturing him on the Ukraine war. Meanwhile, Russia says, we're ready to talk. So now Biden thinks it's time to get long-range missiles into Russia when they indicate to the incoming administration they are ready to talk and maybe wrap up this war somehow. I mean, the Taliban wants a new chapter. Hamas wants an end to the war immediately. China wants peaceful coexistence. That's because the peace through strength guy, Donald Trump, is coming back. He just started receiving intel briefings, according to the Washington Post. He got his first one shortly after his election. January 20th can't come soon enough. It's time for the kid in the candy store to go home and just sit back and think about what he's done.